Welcome to Just the Facts. Today, we're untangling a deeply contentious story. A story that sits at the intersection of, well, justice, politics, and conspiracy. We're talking about the Jeffrey Epstein files, the White House's response, and a whole cascade of accusations aimed at some of the most powerful figures of the last decade.
It's a story with many, many moving parts, Sarah.
Yeah.
And our job here is to lay out the verifiable facts so you, our listeners, can see the full picture. The central question we're exploring is this. Is the White House using new investigations into political rivals as a smokescreen to distract from the controversy over the Epstein files?
Okay, so let's begin with the core of it all, the Epstein files themselves. David, a lot of people, especially supporters of the president, were anticipating this bombshell client list.
Right.
A list that would expose a corrupt elite. So what did the files actually contain?
Well, that expectation is key to the whole story. The reality is the term Epstein files it's misleading.
Okay.
It's not one single list. It's a collection of documents from the federal investigations into Epstein. When the Justice Department, led by Attorney General Pam Bondi, released a batch of files in early 2025, right, they were largely documents that were already in the public domain in some form. Things like flight logs and a heavily redacted contact book.
So not the earth-shattering revelation many were hoping for. What was the official word from the DOJ?
That's where things got really interesting. On July 7th, 2025, the DOJ and the FBI issued a formal memo. They stated in no uncertain terms that after an exhaustive review, and I'm quoting here, they found no incriminating client list. They also said they found no credible evidence to launch new investigations against anyone who hadn't already been charged. For many, this felt like a promise broken.
And how did President Trump react to that, to his own Justice Department's conclusion?
Right. He didn't just accept it. He completely flipped the script. He told reporters, and this is a direct quote, "These files were made up by Comey. They were made up by Obama. They were made up by Biden." He essentially declared the entire federal investigation a political fabrication.
Wow. That's a staggering claim, to say federal case files are made up.
It is.
What are the facts on that, David?
Well, the facts and the timeline they're crystal clear.
Okay.
This is why PolitiFact rated the president's claim pants on fire. The first federal investigation into Epstein was from 2006 to 2008.
Right.
During the George W. Bush administration. The second was in 2019 under President Trump himself. James Comey wasn't leading the FBI during the first investigation, and neither Obama nor Biden were president when these federal cases were active. The claim it doesn't align with the factual record.
So, as this whole controversy is brewing over what the files don't contain, and the president is making these counter-accusations, another storyline emerges. So let's talk about this alleged distraction tactic.
The timing is impossible to ignore. Just as the Epstein story is causing friction between the administration and its base, the Justice Department announces a grand jury probe into Obama-era officials. We're talking about former CIA Director John Brennan and former FBI Director James Comey, among others.
And this probe, it's related to the 2016 Russia investigation, a long-standing grievance for the president.
Exactly. The president's CIA Director, John Ratcliffe, confirmed he had made criminal referrals for Brennan, Comey, and even Hillary Clinton.
Whoa!
He was alleging a treasonous conspiracy. The narrative, it quickly pivoted from the disappointment over the Epstein files to a renewed battle against the so-called deep state and the Russia hoax.
And news outlets like Politico noted this fits a well-documented pattern for the president, right?
Right.
When faced with a damaging news cycle, create a bigger, more explosive one. But is there another way to see this?
Well, the administration's defenders would argue this isn't a distraction. They would say it's long overdue justice. A Trump ally, Mike Davis, he went on Fox News and warned these lawfare Democrats to lawyer up. They frame it as a righteous crusade. However, critics, including former DOJ officials, call it a dangerous politicization of the justice system, using it to attack political enemies.
So, It's a clash of two completely different realities.
It is.
In one, the president is a victim of a deep state conspiracy, and the Epstein files are just another part of that hoax.
Yeah.
In the other, he is using the power of his office to deflect from an inconvenient truth about those same files.
So now here's a question we'd like you, our listeners, to think about.
Okay.
Questioning, when faced with conflicting narratives from our leaders and our institutions, how do we as citizens effectively separate verifiable facts from political strategy to find the truth?